How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, the show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am Tim Wagner.
And if you're not watching this on YouTube, you better go back and fucking get Tim's energy in your veins.
Just craziness and then just like bringing it down to 1. I was at the video is at a 10, the audio is at a 1, and everybody's confused.
And everybody's confused. If you did not know, the Real AF TV podcast is an every other week podcast. We launch every other Monday, and then on our off week on Wednesday, we drop just the fishing topic, if that's what you're interested in. And on Friday, we drop our random take, if you want to take a listen on that. Those drops happen on YouTube. That's right. Real AF TV, remember Real Like Fishing Reel, has a YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on like Spotify or iHeartRadio or whatever the case may be, we have a YouTube channel. And in fact, we just launched our first video finally. I think we've been talking about it for how long now, Tim?
A year?
At least a year, right? We launched Real AF TV and we're like, we're going to do videos, we swear. And then we get to the video podcast and then we're like, but we're really going to do fishing videos. And we're there. We did it.
We did it. It's there.
We got one.
There's one in the bank. And if you support us and help us out, we promise we have more coming. But the more help you give us, the faster they will come.
Damn straight. We'll do more of that in housekeeping, but we usually start the podcast off, and we're going to continue that tradition. Well, it's a newer tradition still. It's only been 10 or so podcasts. Anyways, we start the podcast off with fishing news.
That's right.
Now, I know I should have just played through that because that was a really good news feed. And I just like stopped and listened like, hey, nice job, Tim. Instead of just rolling through it like a good host would.
That's okay. It came out of nowhere. Sometimes you got to think. You're just like,
right.
What? Was that real? I don't know. It sounded good to me too. I impressed myself. I could hear myself in the headphones and I did it. And I was like, that was it.
That was it.
One take. If I was a rapper and I was in the booth, I was like, yes, we're done, right? Hit the clubs.
That was great. Time to hit the club. So you may have listened to episode 45. This is episode 46 of the Real AF TV podcast, of course. And if you listen to episode 45, I kicked us off with sort of what I may have called a PSA. And you might call this one also. But I really wanted to share it and put it out there. I think it's fishing news in the sense of it is more just like spreading the news of fishing's audience, right? The outdoor audience.
Okay.
Because did you know, Tim, that the Twins have a deal with the DNR?
You say the Twins?
Yeah, like the Minnesota Twins, like our baseball team here in Minnesota, they have a deal with the DNR. Yeah. And so I guess maybe this is more fishing information than it is fishing news, but yeah. So we did baseball in episode 44. If you go back and listen to it, that was our random take. And so I looked this up, sort of the baseball fishing connection, and that's how I came across this. And I was like, you know what? I think this deserves fishing news. So they have a special set of games that if you have a fishing or hunting license, you get special pricing and, seats, and they have a special edition Twins camo hat.
Oh, dang. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's sick. No, camo hat, not my thing, but it's sick that there's a special edition Twins hat that you can get just because you have a DNR issued license.
Right. Yeah. Same. Like, not my thing either, like camo or Twins. So it's like, it's still super cool though. Like anything that you're allowed to get because you're like an exclusive member of something else, and to be just an exclusive member of like the outdoorsman club, basically, like just you either hunt or fish
Right.
and here's your camo hat. That's
Right.
pretty cool to just be like, you know, and if somebody asked you about it, yo, where'd you get that camo hat? Oh, I fish.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
I fish.
Conversation starter.
Yeah, I fish. And then the twins gave it to me.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly, dude.
That's pretty cool.
I just thought it was so cool that I had to bring it up because I mean, look, you didn't know. You have a fishing license. You could get special tickets and a exclusive hat. And it runs through April. It runs from April till September. Obviously, this podcast is not coming out in April. But the
Right.
point that I'm trying to make is like, hey, this is something that you can see before baseball season starts, right? Or
Right.
any sports season. It's that is the news to me is like, hey, whoa, the sports team in your area, dude, I have a spider descending next to my camera right now. It just is descending from the ceiling past my camera. I'm keeping that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But yeah,
Murder.
that's the whole thing, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
information. That's the news to me because I was like, I just have to share this, and I think it fits in the news section that professional sports have a way to do, like to get you something exclusive just because you're part of this outdoors family, right? And I thought
Right.
that was fucking cool.
That is super cool. And now it's got me wondering, like, who else does this? What else does this?
Right, right.
Now I got to get on the interwebs and start looking,
I know.
who else has
Like since the
go
wolves are your thing, like what
right.
if they did have a camo hat? Like even though camo may not or isn't your thing,
Right.
you kind of want it, right?
Oh, for sure. And I'm for sure repping that like in like an episode, like we'll go
Oh
fishing and
yeah.
I'm rocking the camo hat,
Yeah, dude. For sure.
definitely I would do that.
Yeah, for me being the hockey guy, if the Wild did it now, the Wild have camo stuff out there that I've seen before. But when when it's this version, right? Like,
Right.
dude,
Yeah,
it
like if you're rocking your exclusive
yeah,
fishing version,
yeah,
and then it's like, yeah, I got to rep, I got to have
right,
my exclusive Wolves fishing hat. Like that's
uh-huh,
my stuff. That's fishing, that's my team.
right,
Bam. Or Vikings too. I'm,
sure,
just
sure.
baseball is just not.
Not
But
my thing,
again,
which we talked about in
if you
episode
go
44.
if
Go back and listen to it, guys.
yeah,
Give
and
it a
if you
go.
go back and listen to it, we both dig going to the live games. It's just like TV is whatever. So you have
Right.
to go to the game to get the hat anyways. So there is like it makes sense. Like I got this hat by
Yeah.
going to the game. I didn't get this hat because I watch them on TV.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. It's
Yeah,
just like support my team, support or like having fun doing what I'm doing, having fun doing what I'm doing. Like it's just like I don't know. It's exactly what we said. It's like it's just cool that it happens,
for sure.
even though it's not necessarily like your style. It's still
Right.
repping.
Yeah. And it's super cool to know that they're even like setting up stuff like that,
Right. Yeah.
where
Agreed.
now I'm thinking like obviously it wouldn't be the same thing, but like, they're working with the DNR. So that's like technically like law enforcement branch. And then like you have like
Mhm.
the police like set it up where they're just like, "You come on down to the Vikings US Bank Stadium for Convict Tuesday. If you have a criminal record and you
If you have a criminal record,
we will hook you
you
up
get a
with an
free orange
orange
jersey.
jumpsuit." Yeah, right. An orange jersey with a Vikings symbol. Or
Right,
it's
right.
just it's a Raiders jersey.
It's just a Raiders jersey.
It's just going down to the Vikings game. Here's a Raiders jersey, you convict.
That was a good sports reference there, dude. I get that even. So I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna put this link in the YouTube description. So if you're listening over on iTunes, then it's not in. I'm just not gonna put it in that description because links don't really. It's not what you think it is. Go over to YouTube, check us out there. Do like, subscribe, and all that shit while you're there, since you're already listening on YouTube. I mean on iTunes. So, but the link will be there for this, twin stuff, because it's not over. There are still a bunch of games left over, and for those of you outside of Minnesota, this is why I bring it up, is because go check out your team. Go check out your
Right.
team. This could be happening where you're from. I mean, look, Tim didn't know it was happening, and now here we are. Like, oh, Tim's gonna go look it up.
Well, for
Wonder if the
sure.
Wolves are
Yep.
doing. One of the Vikes got something like this. Like,
Right. Yeah. And
that's
if you look
totally what
into
this
it,
is.
yeah, and if you look into it and you see that they got stuff going on in other places, like, hit us up. Let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Share it in the comments of YouTube, and then let more people know, because that's what it's about. Just spreading that word.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into housekeeping. You were Monster Bass and Patreon and stuff like that, but that's for the break. Okay, we'll talk
Yup.
about that later. Just want to welcome any new listeners and new followers and stuff like that. We've been having a real good run over there on the social medias, YouTube included, with that new video. It's doing well, and I think we're both very proud of it.
For sure.
The way it turned out.
Yep.
Yeah, been getting some good positive feedback in the sense of like, hey, you could do this, and in the sense of like, it turned out great, it's funny, love watching it. Like, it's just been the right kind of feedback that you want to get.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely. I think we kind of hit what we wanted to hit. Definitely there's some places for improvement, but that's what it's all about. We're just starting, and we're gonna go farther and farther.
Yeah, that's right. So just wanted to point out the video's doing well. It's got some more traction on other outlets, and it's got us some more traction on other outlets and stuff like that. So it's been great to see the video, the launch of the video, help us out, help the podcast out, help Real AF TV go in that direction we want it to go, and that's grow. And
right.
there's a way to get us feedback on that video, by the way. realaf.tv/contact. Remember, real like fish and reel, realaf.tv/contact. And that just emails us, man. I'll be honest, that's all it is. You can email us, we read it, we take it serious. There it is.
That's right.
And if you can, share us with a friend, because that's really how we grow.
That's right. Yep. Let us show them. Say,
better that. Show them. Yeah.
You see this guy flipped a fillet knife and didn't look?
And didn't.
You see that? You see the end of that video?
He flipped it, no look.
He didn't even look.
He flipped crazy?
It. That fillet knife is sharp. It's a very sharp knife. I only used it like twice.
Oh yeah, I believe you.
Well, at that time, I used it a bunch that summer.
Oh, okay.
So,
but it was like a new knife in the video.
Oh, it was like brand new.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, let's get into fishing then. Let's get into our fishing topic, which I didn't even introduce in the intro, which I usually do or don't. But I mean, it's a fucking podcast, so you read the title. You already know what the shit's about.
That's
We're going to talk about budget fishing in our
right.
fishing topic, and then we're going to flip over to the random take, which, for anybody who's listening, is more or less the like rounding us out. Me and Tim are people, and we like shit other than fishing. Fishing's a common bond.
That's right.
But we like to talk about other things, so we like to show that to you guys also, and we like to talk. But
that's right.
random take is going to be about buyer's remorse. That's not the topic right now. We're talking about budget fishing. These are pretty intertwined, because there has to be something that you've bought budget-wise and still had buyer's remorse, or should I say that you've seen as a budget buy and then realized, like, damn, I should have waited to buy that on budget because I paid too much for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's kick off with that, Tim. Is like, has there been like that one purchase in fishing where you're just like, why did I do that? Because I knew it was going to go on budget. Have you had that really happen to you? 'Cause
I
I've
don't
had it
know.
not in
I
fishing, but I've had it happen.
I don't know specific. I can't really think of many like specific things where it was like, oh, I could have waited.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of not necessarily buyer's remorse, but like just upset at how it didn't go the right way. Like if you go and watch our
Mm.
YouTube video, the
Mhm.
boat that I have in there is called a Sears Game Fisher. Sears made this little tiny boat. It is a
Mhm.
two-person, um, like a pontoon boat
Mhm.
that like had a baby with a paddle boat. It's just like a plastic. It can hold like 550 pounds, and it's not a bad boat at all. But I initially was trying to buy a Pelican uh,
Mm.
bass. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a
Shoot,
bass
I thought I
eagle
was
or
gonna have
something.
it too because I remember when you were going through this. I
Yeah,
don't have the name,
I
but it was
always
a
want to
bass
say
something. It was some sort of bass, like, it very much referenced bass fishing.
yeah,
Yep.
Bass Raider. Bass Raider is what it was called.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, and so it would have been like a brand new version, and it was only like $150 more or something than this used one that I bought.
Mhm.
But then COVID hit, and plastics and all this stupid stuff, and I was never able to get it.
Yep.
And I bought this one, and now I see the brand new ones, and I'm like, it would be pretty sweet to
Mm.
have a brand new one,
Mhm.
and not this. Like this one's fine, but like
Mhm. Mhm.
there was a sticker on the back that said "Bad Boy," and the sun had like faded it through, so like I peeled off the sticker, and it
And
permanently
it's still
has like
there?
a it's permanently still says "Bad Boy." I'm just like, oh, and like a
Damn.
Sam's Goody like sticker. Like, who was this person?
Who was this? Too bad it didn't say Bad Boys, and you could just be like, "I don't know, I'm a big Will Smith and Martin Lawrence fan." Like, it's good shit.
Right. It just yeah. Then it becomes like staple. I'd just be like walking down to the landing. Bad
Right.
boys, bad boys. People
Boys,
would be like, "What
what
are
you
you
gonna
doing?" It's just
do?
like bad boys, bro. So yeah, no, I can't because I am like a budget fisherman. The most of the time, I like when I pull the trigger on something that's full price. It's because it's one of those items that just never goes on sale because it's
Yeah,
quality, and they
right.
don't get them on sale. But no, I can't think of much
Uh,
um, besides like my other boats that have like shit out on me, and now I'm just like I don't ever want to buy used again. So
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, that's a really good point, but at the same time, we are talking budget fishing, so we'll keep talking used we'll talk used boats more, right?
right,
So,
yeah,
you make a really good point because we've talked about how expensive fishing is in the past. Like, we have a very reoccurring topic of, like, hobbies are fucking expensive, dude.
right, for sure,
Fishing is no exception. But this is our topic to, like, sort of redeem that in a way, to be like, hey, it doesn't have to be. And yeah, buying used can suck, but you're kicking us off on the perfect topic because this is huge right now. Gas prices are fucking out of control. Like, who knows where it's going to stop right now, right?
right,
And there is a huge move to the small boats.
mm-hmm,
And you did this during COVID because of the availability, like, talk tack on any pandemic difficulty
right,
you
right.
want to that. And it makes this perfect transition to, like, small boats. You already are a small boat. Tell us more about the small boat, not struggle that you went through, but, like, how that budget fishing, like, how did that happen because of budget fishing? Like, what are the tips?
Well,
You get where I'm going?
right, yeah, yeah. So I mean, what it first started with, like, you can even they have like small gas motors, which is not something that I was
Mm.
initially thinking about putting on there.
Mhm.
But I was like, it is a possibility that down the road, maybe, because you can get like 2 or 3 horse motors that are very small and then
Holy
like have a
shit.
little tiny gas tank and stuff. So you
Dude,
can get
I'm sorry to
what
interrupt, but are these sometimes I see, like, bigger fishing boats or maybe even a bass boat where they have the
Oh,
big, like, 500 and then
yeah.
there's a tiny little one next to it?
So that's not a bass boat, and bass boats don't
Okay,
have those ever. Those are always like
ever.
walleye boats because that's a kicker engine, and sometimes it'll be on like
Okay,
a musky
different
boat as
topic.
well because what they can do, well, that kind of falls into budget fishing as well. What they
Okay,
it first off, they can drive at a lower speed for like uh you it's a lot easier to go slow with that little tiny motor.
of
Like the
course.
big motors, even at idle, you can go pretty fast, but that one you can dial it in to getting closer to the exact speed you want.
Okay,
And having that gas motor, like some dudes will troll where they have the rods set up and you're just pulling stuff along the weed line or wherever you happen to be,
sure. Okay.
and you're driving all day. And when you're driving all day, those I think are normally around like 10 horsepower, like 8.8 or 9 or whatever.
Oh, so the motor that you're talking about for the little boat is smaller.
Way smaller still, yeah, but those
Whoa.
ones get a lot better gas mileage, and, like, some of these boats have 250 horse motor,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
instead
yeah.
of idling a 250 horse motor, you're running an 8 horse motor, and
Right,
that's saving a lot of gas, so that's,
right.
like, kind of a budget thing, but
For sure.
I don't know how much you have to use it to make your, extra 5 to $6,000. It
That
makes
the
sense.
motor itself
Yeah.
costs, right? Yeah. So what about these little engine I don't even think I've ever seen one of these engines that you're talking about.
Yeah, so these little gas motors, I think you can get them. I think they're around like 5 or $600 most of the time. Because
Mhm.
basically what they are is it's almost the same thing as like an ice auger, like a gas-powered ice auger, like the
Of cour
same little
yeah, I
motor.
was thinking lawnmower, but
Yeah.
the yeah, ice auger
So
is
it
the
yeah, it
perfect
even kinda
association with
sounds the
fishing.
same. Some of them that are small, like, they'll be the pull start, and then you take off, and you just hear that "wee." So you'll take off in those, and you can have your gas motor on, and it'll get you going a little bit faster than your electric motor, and you don't have to worry about killing the battery as you're driving. That's kind of your
Right, right.
motoring motor to get across the lake wherever you're going, and then you can
Okay.
put your trolling motor down and take your time. But
Mhm.
yeah, the what really happened was, as I alluded to before, I've had shit luck with used boats because
Mm.
I've never really had a lot of money to play with. So I was like, well, I'll just get this used boat because I always thought too, like, I would like to get a better boat down the road. And in
Mhm.
Minnesota, there's always people fishing. And when you
Right.
have these used boats, most of the time, it's an investment. Like boats don't
Mhm.
lose their value. You can buy a
Right,
boat for what you pay for it and
right, right.
and then sell it for the same thing, down the
Mhm,
road. So I would
mhm.
buy I'm like, I'll buy this Alumacraft, and it was this little boat, and I'll have it for a while, and then I'll sell that off. And then that one, the lower unit goes out, and the boat shits out. And I've talked about it before, so I don't have to get into it. And then
Right,
I go, damn
right.
it. And I sell it for pennies on the dollar to like some guy that knows how to weld and can fix the motor. And here's your fixer upper so he can turn around and sell it and make money off of it.
Right, right, but
And then
you need that skill set, and it was originally like a budget move, knowing you can use it, get shit done, and then sell it for damn near what you bought it
right.
for
Yeah. Yep. And then
after
have
you've
that.
had time to save up, and then you take that money back, right?
Exactly. Yep,
And
and then
build
go
on
to
it.
the next one. But basically
Yeah.
what happened was I that one shit out and then I had about enough money to replace that and I ended up finding a older boat and it was a bigger bass boat and I was like this one should be dope, everything seems
Yeah,
fine.
yep.
When I went to look at it, it like fired up right away and I drove 5.5 hours to go pick it up. So I kind of got screwed over in that regard because, um, when I went to start it myself, clearly didn't start up right away. This dude just had it warmed up before I got there,
Ah,
and it turned out like after. Oh, I didn't know how to do compression tests and stuff myself, so it turned out that the compression was off down the road,
yeah,
like it was on the verge of wearing out, and then it wore out, and then that motor was shit, and then 150 horse motor is a lot of
expensive.
money to fix. So then
Right,
that one
right.
again was like sold for pennies on the dollar. And then you get to a point where you're just like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this little tiny boat
Yeah.
that I know isn't going to shit out on me. and that's where it came out,
Right, right,
where I'm
right.
like, I can't not be on the water. I have to be on the water, and I was like, my parents have a boat, so I'll be able to fish with them a lot too, but for around here, I want this. So
Mhm,
and I was trying to think of like what, budget friendly what I could do. And I'm a bigger dude. When you look at kayaks and stuff, to get
mhm.
something that could hold the amount of weight that I was looking to hold, because I wanted to have a trolling motor and everything, I didn't,
Okay,
set
yeah,
up.
yep.
It was way more money to get
Sure,
a full size big kayak than it was to get this. So I'm like, I'm gonna
yeah,
get this. I'm gonna get this foot pedal. I'm gonna get this trolling motor. That's gonna be my whole motor. Like it was under $1,000, and I have a boat that I can fish pretty much anywhere and gets up to like 4.5 miles an hour. So I have
right.
time. It takes a while to get across the lake if I'm trying to drive, but
Right,
like yeah, that's where the budget really came in, where it was like I have a boat that's a setup that's not gonna shit out on me,
right.
and you know that's really where the budget came in, and that's why I ended up
Yep,
going used. I had that one on sale, is
mhm.
why it really sucked that I wasn't able to get that Bass Raider, because they
Yeah.
launched a sale, and I'm like, yeah, give it to me, and then I sat on a waiting list forever, and then they just go, yeah, you're not gonna get it. I was like,
No.
what? What do you mean I'm not gonna get it? And they're just like,
So
you,
sorry, buddy. We
yeah,
don't
they're
have
like you,
your boat.
yeah, they're like you could try again if you want. What do you mean? Like try again?
What
Like
does that mean?
I'll just like get on a waiting list again? They're like, yeah, get on a waiting list, and if we
Yeah.
get one, we give you one. So I can wait another 6 months for you to maybe just say the same shit and be like, yeah, you can try
Right, so
again
you
if you
pulled
want.
right, so you just pulled the trigger on the one, and that makes sense,
Yeah,
and kayaks, like, I looked up some kayaks, and you can, 200 bucks, you could get yourself a real cheap ass kayak, or probably more like $700. You have to and that's not a motor. That's just like brand new. And
yeah.
there's even bigger ones than that for sure.
Oh
But don't
yeah,
forget
and
about like I know this accessories. You have
yeah,
for fishing, a kayak is not a fishing vessel. You have to do things to it. And also, I don't know if you knew this, but if it's 10 feet or over in Minnesota, you still have to register it too, so you
right.
have to, like, deal with the tax man. So
Yeah, my boat has the licensing and everything because it's 10 foot. And they
mm,
do
mhm,
have
and you
kayaks that
but
are
yeah, even you have to do that with a kayak even, like, it's non-motorized.
right,
So
right.
what? If you get
Yep.
that 10-foot kayak and that what you're probably gonna end up in, right? Like, don't forget, there's
Yeah.
another layer to
And
this, and so
yeah. And they do have kayaks that are pretty well equipped for fishing, like, straight out of the gate, but
okay.
those are expensive. Like, Hobby makes some of those.
They're not budget fishing.
I'm talking, like, if you have one that you're buying, like, with the motor or with the paddles, because some of them have the feet pedals or whatever,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
you're
I know what
you're
you're talking
talking
about. They're like a
thousands.
bike almost, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're talking thousands.
Yeah, okay. Mhm.
And that's just the bare minimum. You're not talking about like storage to hold your stuff, because then you got to get like a they make like milk crates looking things to hold your gear and stuff. So
Mm,
you're talking
mhm,
all
mhm.
this other stuff that you got to
Sure.
get.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
But
No,
and
I
there's
love
if
that
you're
'cause
looking at kayaks, I was going to say there are weight limits. You got to check that out too, because it's not just the weight of you; it's the weight plus all your gear. So you got to figure out
right.
what you're looking at.
Yeah, don't underestimate the weight of your fishing gear.
Right? Yeah, I got a
Damn
lot of
good
shit
point,
that I
dude.
like to
Damn
bring
good
with
point.
me.
That's a really good point. So, yeah, I mean, is that's great advice about boats, and it's just such a big thing right now, the small boat thing because of gas prices, right? I mean, the 200 like you said, you got 250 horses, that thing's just guzzling.
Right, yeah.
Plus the truck to get it to the landing, right? Like,
Oh, yeah,
pulling that thing
yep.
in and out of the water.
Yeah,
Catch it
because
on a windy day, damn it.
if you have a big motor on your boat, then your boat's big, and then you need to have something to be able to pull it, and yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it can get up there quick. So, on a that's the only thing that sucks is, like, a windy day, you kinda need to have all that stuff, but it's like, I don't
Mhm,
know.
mhm,
These days with the gas prices,
mhm.
do what you can to set up your day so you're just having the wind push you.
Good damn point. And let it push you and use the trolling motor as much as you can. So far, electricity is still cheaper. Um,
Right,
but
right, yeah,
so
charging up the batteries isn't that bad.
right. The the one thing that I want to wrap this topic on, or the boat topic on, obviously we're not
Yeah,
wrapping the topic yet, is
right.
the small motors that you talked about.
Yeah.
Um, what does that look like? Because you talked about the boat, you talked about the small boat, right? Like
Yep.
go out and look for these small sort of pontoon hybrid things. Pelican's got one, look
Mhm.
for used because well, they don't have a motor if it's not cracked and it's not sun rotted and whatever, right?
Right.
Like if the boat looks good, it's going to fucking float. I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah, I mean,
when it comes to the motors, like I've never even seen one of these tiny motors. I don't know where the fuck even start. Like,
oh,
is
yeah,
there
you can order them online or
okay?
I think they sell
Sure.
them at, like, Fleet Farm and stuff. I think,
Mm,
the
mhm.
most common one, I think Coleman makes them. You know, like the lantern people?
Really?
Yeah, they make, like, little tiny motors, like, little tiny boat motors. I don't know why
Interesting.
Coleman is like, "Yeah,
Huh.
we make lanterns and motors, but nothing over 3 horsepower." You're like,
Like,
"Okay, whatever, Coleman." You
oh,
know?
oh, okay. Do you even make
Yeah.
generators? Like, I don't think you do because I think a generator has to be like minimum 5 horse to be effective.
Yeah, dude, I don't maybe they do make a generator too? I don't know, it's real weird, like, I just know that they make lanterns, and then all of a sudden you just see, like, "Oh, there's Coleman makes a boat motor?"
Weird. Right. Okay. Interesting. Just look up tiny boat motor.
Right, yeah, because there's some other brands, I read some reviews and stuff, I was looking into it, there's some other brands where they're not pretty, like, Coleman's is, like, a nice casing and stuff, and it looks like a little boat motor, and the other
Gotcha.
ones are just kinda looks like, like an auger. It just
Oh,
looks like that
it looks
motor.
like they literally took the auger off and turned it 90 degrees.
Yeah, like, just
So it
kinda looks
propels
like
the
that
boat
motor, and it's got
forward
the yeah,
instead
it's
of
like the
drills down through the ice.
yeah, exactly, there's just like a different, on the bottom. It's they're kinda weird, but I read some
That's
reviews
wild.
and people are just like, "Oh, this motor's awesome," you know?
Sure.
So, it they're
KK.
they're different, but for sure, they're gonna save you some money, you know? You
Yeah.
know it's gonna save you money when some of those boat motors have a gas tank on it that's, like, 1 gallon on the top. That's what it's made for.
Uh,
It's
dude.
just like they're like,
Yep.
"A gallon will
Good
get
tip.
you
Good
a gallon
fucking
will get you
tip.
going."
So I don't know where you want to go right now, but I'm ready to go into the clearance rack because
Oh, for sure. Let's
I
do it.
have some experience with the clearance rack being IT electronics and stuff like that. I worked at Target Electronics for a little while.
Yes. Yep.
So I, I've always got the hot tip of when the seasons change, it's going to be the time to go to the clearance rack. And by seasons for me personally, right? Like as an IT person,
Yep.
you you follow the company. The companies have
Okay.
seasons. That does that sound fucking stupid? Do I need to explain that a little bit?
I
Probably should.
think a little yeah, I'm a little bit
So like
so
Apple has their, and I'm gonna just make up months right now. I have a pretty vague understanding, but it's like okay, so spring is
sure.
Apple's season where they drop their computers. So you always look for just before spring, right? Like right
Okay.
after the holidays, just before spring. And I may be inaccurate right now. I'm a little bit out of sorts with it, but it's
Yeah.
always in those early first quarter. You go look for an Apple computer. Apple never puts anything on clearance, but follow me on the story.
I'm yep, I gotcha.
You always go then because that's when the deals are going to be to try to sell off the other stuff before the new shit comes out. And in the
Okay.
fall, they do their mobile shit. And Samsung, they always do their mobile shit soon after the new year. Like fiscal year is March. So they drop first fucking quarter. Pff, here comes all the new
Yeah.
Samsung shit. It's like if you watch that, companies have seasons, they have patterns, and you can just
Right.
figure it out, and then you can go and you can play the game. Like right now,
Yep, yep.
it's summer. Summer is when all the new games get revealed.
Yeah.
Tons of games go on sale because everybody's super hyped for the new
On the new
games,
stuff.
so they sell the current games, they put them on sale
Yeah.
to feed into the hype, right? Like,
Right.
that's the clearance rack to me as a tech
Yep.
person.
That
Does
makes
this
sense.
apply to fishing?
Yeah, but not if it does apply in the same aspect of like this brand does this and that brand does that, I'm not aware of that. But
Mhm.
it does go based off of seasons.
It
Like
does.
Shields is a really good one
Yeah.
to go to for like your ice fishing and stuff
Can I ask one
because
second? Do you know if
yeah,
Shields is nationwide?
they are nationwide or you're
No, are
asking?
they? Do you know if they are?
I don't think I want to say like Shields is like a Midwestern thing. Like I
Oh,
think they
okay.
have a lot of stores, but I don't think
Okay.
it goes throughout the whole like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops are really big. Like
Right.
those
In
are
the whole
everywhere.
country.
Yeah,
Right.
those are everywhere. I
Yep.
think Cabela's was a little bit more like
Okay.
Midwestern too, but then they got bought by Bass Pro Shops, so now they're all
Right. Now
intertwined
they're
and I don't
everywhere.
know.
Yep. Yep.
But
I understand.
um
I just wanted to give the context of like, yeah, okay, it's like a Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's or something, just different.
right.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah, for
like a
sure. Okay.
Shields and this is just a good thing to keep out on any of your local bait shops. Like if you know you got a spot that you go to, just keep an eye out cuz
Sure, sure.
Fleet Farm doesn't seem to like mark down their prices as much as like as a whole,
Okay.
but when it hits like late winter,
Yeah.
the shields that I have for sure because they convert like 3 or 4 aisles into ice fishing stuff.
Holy
All
shit.
that stuff has to go to make room for summer stuff. So
Oh, so you like
they
you
mark
know these
down
transition
everything.
aisles, so knowing your local spot is also a hot budget tip.
Yes, yeah, because
Yeah,
they're
dude,
like,
good
well,
one.
we gotta. It's getting close to spring. We gotta get rid of. Let's do our
Yeah.
best to get rid of as much of this as we can, so we can
Right.
put less away for
Yeah.
next year. So
Right.
none of it has any problems with it. They're just like everything's on sale.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
like 30% off, and you're just like, fuck yeah, 30% off. Like
Right.
you think
Right.
about how many, you know, eh, if you're buying 10 lures,
Yep.
30% off that's like 3 free.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a really good point of that's a great way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
for
awesome.
sure.
So
Yeah.
and so when you're talking clearance racks, like you were saying, the different um manufacturers do whatever.
Mhm.
Keep an eye on that because maybe that's a real thing that they do. But for me, I know what the different stores around here do.
Right.
And for like Fleet Farm and stuff, they always have their bargain bins. That's another thing. Look for a bargain bin everywhere you go. Almost all of them have a bargain bin. In
That's
Fleet
awesome.
Farm, there's always like two bargain bins you go over, and there's
Mhm.
just Runnings has bargain bins. They'll have just like there's like color coded stuff on Fleet Farm
Yeah.
is how they do it. They're color coded stuff, and
Yeah.
depending on the color on the packaging,
Yep.
shows how much percent off that you're taking. So
Right.
I'm just like digging through there, finding stuff like this will
Yep.
work, this will work, this will work. You go in like with an intention of like two lures, and you end up leaving with a ton of shit. You're like, I didn't even pay that much for this stuff. Like this is awesome, and it's all just kind of knowing what you plan on doing. It might not be what you're
Yep.
gonna do right then. It's like
Yeah.
planning ahead helps tons because then it's
That's
like
a
I know I'll use
yep.
this eventually, and this
Right.
eventually I'm gonna get it now cheap when nobody else is looking at it.
That's exactly what I was getting when you started this off. I was like, it's the forward thinking that
Yes.
is really key to the budget fishing game
Yeah.
right now from what I'm hearing
Right.
from you.
Right.
It's that
Yep.
forward thinking is like, "Oh, go get this ice shit even though you maybe can't use it
Mhm.
this year. Think about the
Right.
fact that you just bought 3 for the price of 2." Or,
Yeah. And it's for everything when it comes
okay.
to ice fishing. Like if you watch,
Mhm.
most of the gear goes on sale and like the rod holders. I know that there was
Oh,
like this
are you
nice
when you say
thick
gear,
knee
you
pad,
talking like fucking gloves and
gloves, rods, everything. I was getting
wow.
everything at discounts. I wait till the end of the season and start just buying everything.
I
Everything.
know.
Like Shields is awesome for that. Like almost
Nice.
everything they have goes on sale. It's crazy. It hits the end
That
of the season
is.
and they're just like everything's on sale. So
Plan
some
for
of
next
that's
year or plan for next season. That's like, that is what
right.
I'm hearing about the clearance rack when it comes to fishing. Plan for next season.
Yep, yep.
It's sometimes
Yeah.
really hard to hold back, but just think of play the long game, dude. Play the long game.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you're gonna play the long game, you can save so much money.
Sure.
So, but when it comes to like now, currently, if you're trying to save some money, and again, like if you have, it's kind of like going to like an Aldi. Like if you have a
Mm,
specific,
mhm.
like I need to get these ingredients to make this dish, you might
Yeah.
not be able to get the deal. But if you pay attention, you just buy when you see stuff going cheap, or you're just like, I need
Mhm.
some lures,
Mhm.
and you see stuff that you know you'll eventually use, get it when
Mhm.
you see it on the price. And so when you go to Fleet Farm, they have this is my favorite. They have orange tags is the price tags of
Yep.
everything. They're all
Yep.
orange, right?
Mhm.
They put yellow tags on the stuff that is either on sale or getting discontinued. So
Oh, shit.
I start going up and down the aisles just looking for yellow tags, and when I see a yellow tag, I stop and I look at it and I go, yeah, either I just like, sweet, or pass.
Yep.
And sometimes I get beat to the punch where I hit the yellow tag and I'm just like, ow, damn it. They're all gone because it was like too good of a deal.
Oh,
Like
right.
they're just cleared out.
Yep. Yep. And that's when you know, like, oh, damn, hot deal there.
Yeah. And when they're hot deals, like the shit goes quick. Like you got to pay attention to the sales and stuff. I know earlier this season, Callan's has some nice jig heads that I use a lot, and they had the live bait ones.
Callan's is
Those,
a lure brand.
yeah, it's like a lure brand, soft plastic brand. It's like
Okay.
a yellow
Mhm.
packaging with like blue lettering, and it's
Okay.
like a last name. So it's like
Yep.
Callan's, like with a apostrophe s.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Okay.
and so they're the live bait jig. So like it's a shorter shank because you're made to put like a minnow on it or whatever, not a fake bait.
Mhm.
And those things are a 3-pack, and those 3-packs sell for like 460.
Okay.
And early this spring, they had a deal that was 5 for 10. 5
Whoa,
packs for
dude.
$10. Yeah, and those packs sell for like 460 a pack.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that
you
was
just really do the quick math and it's 2 for 10.
yeah.
Like,
It was
rounding up, by the way. That's rounding up. Like,
right.
you have to do
Right.
yeah, take that
Yeah,
into
yeah,
cons
so
the
regular
quick
yeah,
back of the napkin, like, brain in the moment trying to process this at the store as
right.
quick as possible. You just do
Yep.
that. Round up.
Yeah, so
Oh,
if
shit.
you guys I understood what you said, but if you weren't following, Josh is saying like regular price, it's 2 for 10. Sale, 5 packs for 10, you know? So it's like that stuff where like you might not be using those live bait jigs all the time, but if you do use those live bait jigs, go buy you 10 packs cuz 10 packs, 3 jigs in a pack,
Mhm,
that's 30
mhm,
jigs.
mhm,
That's going to
mhm.
last you a while, and those are
Right.
quality jigs, that's why they're sold
Mhm.
in 3 packs.
Right.
So it's stuff like that, but those yellow tags are awesome to be finding, and they have those on their lures. And then also, like, I found that each Fleet Farm is different, and they're under new ownership, so it's kind of getting cleaned up. But before,
Yeah.
they used to have like these, it was almost like these doors, like hinged
Mhm.
things that had all the rods and stuff, and you could
Mhm.
move them. And I would just keep flipping through there looking for the special price tags until I found one, and then I'd look at the rod and I'd be like, I could use this or I couldn't, and I'd find it cheap, and I just did it again.
Yeah.
They have like a separate rack, so that's one thing where you just got to kind of scour and figure out where it is in your store. But there was one that's like a center
Yeah,
rack where
yeah.
they have like these rods that are discounted for whatever. And I
Mm.
literally told myself earlier in the season I started off. Shakespeare makes a rod called an ugly stick. And it was the
Yep.
first fishing rod I ever had, like first legit fishing rod. And I say legit, it's not like I spent a lot of money on it. It was like $35 for just the rod, which was
Yeah.
like when you first start out, that's crazy. Like I'm
Yeah.
spending
Oh, for sure.
$35 on just the rod. Like you're only supposed to spend $30 on the whole combo.
Right.
But so I got it was like a two-piece rod and I loved it. Like I learned how to really fish with that. It was like a medium light. It was like the first one where it had like different power and stuff where I'm really starting to learn how fishing rods are different. Like this is
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
different than anything I've used. It's got good backbone and I can, use it to work the bait differently and stuff.
Right. Mhm.
So Ugly Stick came out with a carbon and it's like a red rod and they have one piece and two piece, but the one piece rods are like $80. Like they're legit like lightweight, like nice rods
Dude.
now. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
that was my first rod. Like I need another spinning rod, and that's the one. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
I like the way it's set up. Like I want to try that rod out. And for
Yeah.
$80, I'm like, if I can find this on sale, I know it's a nice rod because it sells for 80. If I can find this on sale, I'll take
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah.
They had a sale for $65 on those rods, and I'm like, this is dope. But I'm like,
Yeah.
let me look around and stuff.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
found one on the clearance rack and I looked it over and
Yeah.
stuff to make
Yeah,
sure,
dude.
like, are
The
there any
clearance rack.
defects? Like, are there any defects? And it's like, for whatever reason, like this one must have been like last year's model or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any defects, any problems. Like, this is a perfectly good rod.
Mhm. Mhm.
It wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was a little bit shorter than what I wanted, but I'm like, I
Okay.
can't pass up this deal. 39.98 is a half off. And that's where
Fuck.
it's like, look at
Yeah,
your clearance racks and
dude.
stuff. And I've pulled these deals
Hell
all
yeah.
over the place. And that's just like, how you put together an arsenal, especially when,
Right.
if you're trying to be a more avid fisherman, you like to have the different setups, like
Right.
to
Good
be able
point.
to get
Yeah.
the cheaper setups together is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. We've talked about that plenty of times in the past about how like this is why fishing is an expensive hobby to have, an expensive
mhm,
sport to participate in. If you look at the pros on the bass tour, right? They're just like jack full of
right.
rods and
Oh
reels and
yeah.
combos and like we've talked about. And that it all goes back to clearance rack, long game.
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah. It's
Because you just explained how this is how you get an arsenal. This is how you build your arsenal. This is how you
yeah.
get all of those different setups. Like, I mean, that's how you ended that. And it's like, yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
hope it sets in for because it's just the way it sets in for me is just like, yeah, you're just
Right.
making it so clear. It's just not something I would have thought of on my own without having this conversation because of the way you just explained it. Like, it's, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. So, real quick before we move off of clearance rack stuff, because I got
Oh, we
other
don't have to move
tips.
off clearance rack stuff for the whole rest of the topic if we don't want to.
Oh yeah, well that works then.
We'll go into whatever you want to. I'm just
So
saying.
I don't know if I have much more else than, well, it's not really clearance rack stuff.
Yeah.
So here I'll touch on it this way, not the clearance rack stuff.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of clearance rack stuff. Walmart.
Mhm.
I'll tell you a couple things about Walmart real quick. Walmart almost always has like their kind of bargain bin items, but it's
Mhm.
just the bottom shelf. For
Oh.
whatever reason, there's just shit on the bottom shelf that's like a dollar all the time. There's just dollar items down on the bottom. And you're
Okay.
like, why? I don't understand. I remember going into and every Walmart is different. They
Yep.
put the baits in based off of what they think that you will fish. My Walmart that's just down the street from me, I cannot buy musky lures at. I go just
Oh.
down the road for the one
Okay.
that's closer to the river, and I
Yeah.
there are musky lures in that Walmart.
Really?
Not a lot of them, but there are some. And
But
then
they
like,
actually stock them in comparison to the one that's nearby, further away
yeah,
from the river where there's
yep.
just none.
They're another one that marks down all their ice fishing stuff too, but at least the ice fishing selections that they have here are horseshit. So that one is like, don't it's like the
Don't
smallest
depend on
chunk.
them.
No, it's the smallest chunk of like, it's like the stuff your grandma would get you, just like, I know you like
Right, right,
fishing, and
right.
you're like, all this stuff sucks, grandma, like she
Right,
doesn't
right. But you're
know,
like,
they're
"Thanks,
just lures.
grandma. Christmas was
Yeah.
awesome."
Right, exactly.
More junk from grandma, that's
Right.
fine. That's the thought that counts,
Right.
she doesn't get it.
Right, exactly. You're just like, I'll try to use it, grandma, but you're just like, I'm not wasting my time with this shit. But so the bottom, like, you can find some good deals there, and I
Mhm,
say that every Walmart is different because some of them don't have the deals. I remember going
mhm,
out. My sister-in-law lives like an hour and a half away, and we went
mhm,
to the Walmart that they live in, and when I went there, they had Yum. Yum
mhm,
is a soft plastic brand. They make some other stuff too, but I really like their soft plastics. They're always like on the cheaper end anyways.
mhm,
That's a good bargain tip, just like if you're going out and not trying to find bargain hunting, like the Yum product soft
mm,
plastics.
mhm.
You can find soft plastics that are rival anything else, and they're like $2 to $3 less a pack. It's
Oh,
crazy. I
wow.
don't really understand where their money
Like
comes
right.
in. Yeah, but
How the hell
it's
they do that? Right. But I
yeah,
got you.
it's pretty impressive shit. But I do buy other stuff because I like the way they move and stuff, you know.
Right,
So
of course.
it's whatever.
Right.
But when we went out there, they sell those for like I want to say it's like 360 or something a pack,
Mhm,
and they had that type of deal. It was on the bottom rack, and they had the
mhm.
packs for $1, and I bought every single one they had. I'm just like,
You
I'm
just
buying
dug
all of
through
these.
the bottom rack like, "I'm fucking buying every
Dude,
single one they have."
not even like dug through the bottom rack. There was like a box of the Yums, and I scanned
Yeah.
it, and I was like, "This says it's $1." And I scanned another one, and it's like, "This says it's $1." And then they just took the box. I'm like,
I just
"All of
took
these
the
are mine now." Colors that I don't even use. I'm like, "Eventually, these will come in handy. I will use these."
Right,
You know,
right, right.
like for a
Again,
dollar a piece. How I
long game.
can't. I'm buying all of them.
Oh, fuck yes, dude.
So I had a bunch of Yums that I didn't have to like re up anything else for a long time because it's crazy. So Walmarts are crazy like that, that they just like for whatever reason they go on sale.
Yeah.
They've kind of reverted to normal rods now where they don't have a lot to choose from. It's like they have Berkeley, they do have those ugly stick carbons.
Uh-huh.
Berkeley makes some rods, like a Berkeley lightning rod. Like if you're a budget fisherman,
Mhm.
if you're trying to get in right now, a Berkeley lightning rod is an excellent rod to get.
Oh, okay.
A low price, like casting or spinning rods, low price. Like if you
Oh,
want a
wow.
cheap one, like
Mhm,
I would say probably try not to cheap out on your reels and stuff, but you can get away
mhm.
with using a Berkeley lightning rod. And I think they sell for like
Nice.
$30 all the time, maybe 39 or something.
Sure.
But full
Yeah.
price at that. And if you find one of those on sale, what you're talking $20? Like
Right,
it's
or less even depending
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
right day.
So for whatever reason, like fishing got hot at one point, and Walmart was like, "We're gonna get into this high end fishing game," and they started selling all sorts of high end rods, and I'm like, "What the fuck is
Wow.
going on?" Like
Was
Walmart's
this
just
during
in
the
the
pandemic when? Because remember how we
no,
talked about how
no, it was before the pandemic. It was real weird. Like when the
interesting.
pandemic hit, it was like the run was over. So I don't know if some of the Walmarts in
Mhm.
your area are still running these,
Right.
or maybe in different bass fishing community, like more heavy bass fishing communities, they're still selling these high end rods because they know that the bass fishermen are spending this extra money on the rods and stuff. But even the walleye rods and stuff, one of my favorite rods is a spinning rod. It is a Wright and McGill. Um, Wright and McGill is like the Eagle Claw company. If you're
Oh, yeah.
familiar with Eagle Claw,
Yeah, I
but Wright
am.
and
Yeah.
McGill is like the parent company, and they make some really quality stuff. And they have a walleye series. Tony Roach is a very famous walleye fisherman,
Okay.
and Skeet Reese is a famous bass fisherman.
Bass, I was gonna
And
say.
he's got like these black and yellow like honeycomb
Mhm.
rods. They sold those there and the Tony Roach ones. I have one of each. I ended up breaking the Skeet Reese one. It was just a little tiny light thing. I think I still have it like set up for panfish or something.
Okay.
But both of those I got ridiculously priced because for whatever reason, if you watch their website, this is the tip here.
Okay.
When you find a rod or you find anything that you're looking at, especially if it's a higher ticket item and it costs more money, go to Walmart's website.
Okay.
They had that ski or the Tony Roach one
Okay.
was an $80 rod. It was like 79.98, like just like the carbon.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, online they had that thing priced at $32 and they price
Woo
matched it in
Oh!
store. I
Oh,
got that. It's
shit.
one of my favorite rods. I still use it. I've had it for like 10 years.
Oh my god,
And
dude.
yeah, it was like $32. So when you're like, even if you're
Yeah.
not looking at buying a rod and you see a rod, if you have a little bit of time and you're like, maybe this rod, like just look online because then you just go pulling the trigger. It's like 60% off for some
Right.
reason.
I'm bringing this motherfucker to customer service.
Right, exactly.
Damn,
Yeah,
dude.
I
That
don't
shit is
understand.
crazy.
Walmart's weird like that. Sometimes they will price match their website, and for whatever
All of
reason,
them are like that.
sometimes
Because,
yeah.
like, Target is not the place to go for any it's sort of like fishing or hunting or anything like that.
Oh yeah, right,
They just don't stock that stuff. They got tents and fucking air mattresses. But
right,
that was my experience when I worked at Target was the website was different. It
oh
very
yeah,
easily could be different, and price matches happened all the time. That is a great hot tip because I never thought to do that for Walmart or other bigger, there's going to be other bigger companies that do that. I'm sure like a Bass Pro Shop would do that too or something like that does a lot of moving on their website, but like they're two different things. Just like you said, Walmart down the street is different than the Walmart 6 blocks down closer to the river. The
right,
website is different. It's a different team running that.
exactly.
They're
Yep,
marketing to different people. The Walmart in Minnesota is not the Walmart down in Arkansas, where maybe they are still going nuts with the fishing stuff. And if they are, let us know. Like, put it in the comments. We
right,
all want to
right,
know.
right.
But
Yeah,
seriously, not just a plug for our comments, but dead serious is like that's the sort of stuff that the internet has allowed us to do is do these price matches, do these comparisons.
right.
Hot tip, dude.
Yeah,
For
and
real. I didn't even
just
think about it, even having
right.
had that like firsthand experience of having to
Yep.
price match all the time.
Yeah, and just uh, I would say too, make sure you go to their website because for whatever reason, like you can do their like scanner deal. They have it
Oh
where
yeah,
it's
like
like
you scan the barcode,
yeah,
right? With
that
your
goes
phone,
based off
with
your
your
zip
smartphone.
code for whatever reason, and it
Mhm.
knows like what your store like has it priced at.
Yep.
But if you just type it into the website, it'll show you like what it's priced at as a
Yep.
whole.
Right.
And I've found some killer deals like that on there.
Good
So
point. Yep. Yep.
yeah, Walmart is a crazy spot. Like I'm definitely not saying it's my favorite spot to go fishing for your like finding stuff, but
Going
like I'm
fishing for
there
fishing gear.
buying yeah, it's like I'm there buying other stuff and I'll always check it out. And then every
Yeah.
once in a while you walk away with a rod that's way cheaper than it should be.
That's
The
sick, dude.
reels get a little bit harder. The reels you gotta look for sale items and stuff for most part. Not at
Okay.
Walmart, just in general. Like
Right.
reels
Right.
normally. Oh, here's another budget one. Me and you both got pink Fluger Presidents. Why?
Bam.
Because the Fluger President, for whatever reason, the lady one, when it's pink, that one goes on sale and the blue one doesn't.
Yep.
It's the
Yep.
exact same reel, but it's just a different color.
It's
If
just a
you
different color.
are not some guy that's got to just be like, I'm not getting pink,
I'm not
just go
fucking gonna
buy it.
do
It's the
pink.
same. It's the same reel. I'm
Yeah.
using the pink reel in our crappie spawn video.
It is in the dude, it is. That's right. Thank you for pointing that out. 100%. You are using that reel. Exact
Yeah,
one. Yeah. And
and the
I
Fluger
did the
President is
reason why
really
I
real.
got one was
Yeah,
because you're like, that rod that Sam gave us? Sam's are not on the podcast. He's a character in our podcast, but he's not on
right,
it.
right, right.
Sam got us a reel, or I mean, got us a rod, sick
Yep,
rod.
yep.
And I was
That's the
like, I
same
don't know
rod
what
I'm
to.
using in the video too.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Sick rod. We got it. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. You're like, don't worry, I got you. 2 weeks later, sends me a text. Go to Fleet Farm. This right here, it's on sale. Zipped up to Fleet Farm. Sure enough, that's it. It was game
Yeah,
over. It was just like, oh yeah, here's the blue one. Here's the pink one. It's $20 off. Go get it. I said, all right.
yeah, same thing. It's just a different color,
So
and
stupid.
people are just like, "Oh, I don't really want the pink." And it's just like I get that you don't. I get that you would prefer the blue one, but if I told you it's $20 less,
Right.
are you gonna take the pink one?
Right.
Yep.
Go get the fucking pink
Yeah.
one, dude.
So it's
So-
stuff like that where like you just got to keep an eye out. Sometimes colors,
Yeah.
I do that all the time with stuff that I'm looking for, where it's like the
Mhm.
color is not exactly what I wanted, but whatever. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a really good point about the colors because I'm glad to hear that it applies to fishing because it applies to electronics and stuff in my area too.
right.
Like,
And it
the
doesn't
matte
apply
black
to a
one
lot
sells out
of,
immediately and then goes on eBay for 30% over.
yeah.
If you wait 6 weeks, the light blue one goes on sale for 30% off.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
just like,
that's like
fuck, dude.
that's like stuff depending on where you're at. Like I would say, like if you're traveling someplace,
Yeah.
the colors of the lures sell different. There's a lot of like
Oh,
color, like
yeah,
dingy water stuff goes on sale up north where all the waters are crystal clear. Like not a lot of people are buying those dingy water things.
oh,
And
right.
then you
So
go
they sit
down
on the rack for
south.
too long, and then they have to fucking
Yeah.
clearance them.
Yep. And then you go down south where like they have a lot of dirty water
Mhm,
and like
mhm.
nobody's buying any of the clear water shit.
Right,
Yeah, it's
right.
that one's a little bit harder where it's just like if
Yeah,
you're
but
in the
if you're moving
right
around
spot, right time. Yeah.
if you're moving around, that's a good tip. Can
Hmm.
can we talk live bait for a second? If I mean,
Oh
for
yeah.
like, I don't wanna I don't wanna miss any of the points you have, but I have
No,
live bait
I
down.
just let's talk live bait, and then I just wanted to touch on sale, like just sales in general.
Oh, okay. Live bait, you can harvest sometimes,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was my like, in my research, that was kind of my hot tip sort of budget thing is like, that live bait just exists out in the world, right?
Right. Yeah, it's everywhere. You can
And
go and get your own worms. Yeah,
yeah,
everything.
which by the way, I found out worms are invasive. I don't know if we covered that in like one of our first podcasts when we did night crawlers, but like, I guess worms are invasive to Minnesota. That doesn't make what?
Really? All of
Yeah,
them?
and I think we did talk about how you're supposed to throw them away and not throw them in the woods or not throw them in the but yeah, I guess they're invasive. Anyways, let's not
I
dive into
heard about
that.
I heard about some new just since you're saying it, I heard about some new invasive worm that's called like a jumping worm and it can actually
Yeah,
like jump and it like squirms sideways like a sidewinder snake
I
and shit.
actually
It's like
think we
what the
talked about
fuck?
that quickly already.
Did
And
we?
yeah, I
Dude,
think we did
man.
talk about it. I mean, the podcasts were shorter then, but
If I see a worm coming at me sideways and it jumps, I'm just gonna be like, oh.
what the fuck, dude? But
But
yes.
my wife
Oh,
told me
go
about it,
ahead.
and the first thing I thought was just like, so you telling me that there's a worm out there that swims like a leech? Because that sounds like money for walleyes, you know?
That's your first thought. Not that
Yep.
this is a jumping worm or invasive, but
Yeah, I
like,
don't know if I
wait,
would want that though. You
what'd
like
you just
work
say?
open the worm thing and it like jumps at you, like, ugh.
I know. Feels weird.
I'll buy leeches. Thank you.
But so live bait is yes, it's live. And in
Yes.
many, like there are still DNR regulations around it in a lot of
Right.
like our wildlife management. I always say DNR because that's what it's called here in Minnesota. I know that's not what it's called everywhere else. But frogs, crayfish, looked them up. They're good
Yeah.
to go. In fact,
Frogs are easy to
I've
catch.
tried live frogs before.
Yeah.
It's
Frogs are
weird,
easy to catch.
but they're easy to catch.
Frogs make you feel bad though.
Yeah, it kind of does. I know.
Because they have their front hands and they like grab onto the hook.
Yep.
They're just like holding onto the hook in their face, and you're just like,
Yep.
ah, I don't
And
like this.
yeah, it feels weird. Yep.
Uh,
100% honest. It feels weird.
yeah, yeah, it feels
Yep.
weird.
But
So,
it's
and
possible.
it's
Crayfish
possible.
too. Like their
Yeah,
live bait is a real thing. Worms, I didn't see where you couldn't. I'm not gonna say you
right.
can,
No, you
but
can for sure. You can catch. Yeah, you can catch
yeah.
worms. They're all over the place. You can dig for them yourself, or like it's pretty easy. Like if you find some farmland or whatever, if you can just find some
Oh,
rocks,
yeah.
like just
Yeah.
overturn a rock. They're
Well,
like right underneath the rocks all the time.
right.
There's
Right.
all
Because
sorts
that's
of
their
shit.
moisture. That
Yeah.
like low
Fish,
moisture.
yeah, fish will eat a lot of stuff if you're willing to grab it. Like tree grubs and stuff are supposed to work pretty good, but those things like bite you and stuff. I don't want to touch them.
Right,
So like,
like even poop maggots in the dog bin where the dog poop's
yeah,
been sitting.
dude, maggots are Euro larvae. That's what they are. That's
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's for ice fishing. Like those are maggots. It's just
Yeah.
like maggots doesn't sell well, so you call
It
them Euro larva.
right. Or even waxworms, like, you look at a waxworm, it's like, okay, maybe that's not officially a maggot, but look at a picture of a maggot and look at a waxworm.
Yeah, pretty
It's a
much,
fucking maggot,
pretty
dude.
much. Yeah, I think the difference is like a waxworm has like a head, like a bug. That one actually
Right.
looks kind of like a bug, where a Euro larva is just
Sure.
like that is
Just straight
clearly
up a
just a maggot.
worm.
That is straight up maggot, bro. Like
Sure,
that
sure.
is
I get what you're
disgusting.
saying.
And they turn
So
into flies. I think I've said that before. And if you leave the Euro larva in the
yep,
thing
yep,
long
yep.
enough, all of a sudden you just have a
Right.
little thing full of flies. It's
I was like
disgusting.
yep. You have said that before. And that was so yeah, I mean, that was the other thing is like you can go, you know that you can just go and get live bait. So you don't necessarily have to if you got a hook,
Yeah,
you got some
yeah,
weight, you can go
yeah.
get your own
Like
bait. Like
a
that's a
scuba,
budget ass move.
right? Yeah, if you have access to water or whatever, what is a scoop of minnows is like $3.50 if it's crappie minnows, like at the least, and like
Sure.
shiners and stuff. If you're lucky enough to find some of the shiners in the lake, shiners they sell by the half dozen. Like it's like five, it's like $4 or $5 for like a half dozen, I think. So
It's
that's
like
like
a
six
dollar a
minnows.
fish. You just round up again,
I
right?
think, yeah, I think a small minnow trap is only like $20. So if you have access to water, $20. If you can keep catching them or you know where to put it, like we have it at my parents' cabin. We throw it in the water and we'll catch. There'll be like smaller crappie minnows and stuff that'll swim in there, and then
Nice.
you have crappie minnows. And some
Nice.
days
Yeah.
you only catch baby sunfish and stuff, and then you put them in a then you put
Right.
them in a fish bowl because the kids love staring at them. You just leave them in there for a little bit and then you let them go again. But
Yeah. But
um,
it was just something I wanted to bring up because I was just like, I don't think a lot of people will think of that or like even in learning experience, it's just I don't think it's somebody people I don't think it's something people have told to them, right? Because I never
right,
did.
right,
And then I was just like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just started looking this shit up and I was like, oh no, you can. Because
yeah,
you go and you buy worms, you go and you buy fish, and I'm like, I see
right,
fish and I see worms.
yeah.
Can I
Bass
fish
and
with them?
panfish will pretty much eat anything that you put in there. It might
Sure.
not be the best bait, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking to save some money, any bug, any little, worm that you find, they'll eat all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Yeah.
have the means of catching. You can
Right.
catch grasshopper, that'll work. Whatever you got. It it
It's
works.
crazy. I know I would have never thought of that, but yeah,
Dude, my
sure.
favorite thing cuz I hate spiders. Like if there's a spider on the side of the boat, I'll flick him in the water and watch him get ate up by like sunfish. I'm like, serves you right, serves you right. You just get off my boat. This
Serves
is
you
my
right,
boat.
motherfucker.
This is stupid spider in your 8 legs. But
So, one more quick thing is like Minnesota has state parks, and
yeah,
I'm sure your state does too. You know, you can fish for free, no license. Like, just another budget thing. Now, there's exceptions.
I
There's exceptions.
there are
Would you?
exceptions. Yeah, I guess I didn't know that, but you have to have like a pass to go there, right? Or is that just
Well,
parking most of the time?
that's the that's the thing I don't know because I don't frequent state parks enough. But
Okay,
I can say that like there's exceptions, but like there's designated like state parks, right? That you can go fishing for free, and there you go. I mean, there's
nice.
still rules
Yeah,
in place, of course. Like you can only have so many walleyes. So like you still have to read your fishing regs and know your fishing regs, but it's
right,
just the license part that you can skip over, right? So if you're close
right, right,
enough,
right,
hey, there's just another buck or two that's saved, and it's from shore. Don't bring the boat. Don't be weird. Like it's from the pier that's there. It's not
right,
one of those
right.
situations where you just like bring your $100,000 bass boat in your $150,000 Dodge and
Right, right,
fishing for free. It's like
right,
you took it too far. You took it too far. It's
right,
like a reasonable when you look at it, you're like, this is made for budget fishing. It's totally written in the
yeah,
law to be a budget fishing sort
right.
of situation. It's sick.
Yeah, it's like a perfect like starter. Like I don't know if I'm really
Yeah.
into this. I don't know if I should pay for this. Like, well, see if you can find yourself one of those piers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
fish out there.
Right. Yeah.
Find one of those piers. Visit Walmart online, get yourself a cheap rod, and then
Right,
go dig up
right.
some bait
Yeah,
and see if you
exactly.
like it.
You don't have to be the super expensive hobby thing that we are talking about. So
Right, and you can
that we've talked
always
about
find
before, and now
yeah,
we're trying to kind of like tamp that down a little bit because it may
yeah,
have scared people off, which is the
and
opposite of what we want to do.
you can always find used stuff too.
Oh,
Fishing
word.
rods and reels and stuff, there's a lot of
Not
used
even
stuff
just
that
boats, like you started with.
yeah, just a lot of gas stations, a lot of garage sales.
Garage sales, dude.
Garage sales will have stuff where they're just like, I'm not
Hell yeah.
really I decided I don't wanna fish anymore or whatever, and they're just like, sometimes I don't even know if they, like, really plan on not fishing. It's just like they're like, "Oh, we're selling all this stuff, throw those fishing rods. I don't think I
Right.
need those fishing
No.
rods," you know?
Yeah, I agree. I
So,
agree.
it's not always, like, great stuff, but if you're just trying to start out, I mean, you can
Hmm.
get a heck of a deal on that. Like, I was
Hmm.
working, with some special needs kids at one point in my life, and I
Hmm.
wanted to take them fishing. I went to a garage sale and got a bunch of rods and reels because I was like,
Nice. Hell
they
yeah, dude.
I not trying to talk shit about the kids, but they didn't know what they
No.
were doing, and I'm like, "You're not gonna
Right.
be using my shit, I'll get
Yeah,
you
yeah,
this
yeah.
cheap
No,
stuff from
no,
the
it's
garage
totally
sale."
yeah.
And then we all went fishing and stuff, and we went
That's
off a
sick.
pier, and they were and when they're younger, kids don't need to have a license until they're 16.
Oh, good point. Yeah. I
So,
mean, it's
yeah.
different per state, but I'm pretty sure it's
Oh,
different
yeah,
per
yeah,
state. But like
yeah.
you make a really good point is that getting kids fishing doesn't have to be part of your expense necessarily,
Right.
right? Like the hand
Yep.
me down stuff can go and they don't need a license and like you can just have your little
Exactly.
partner there with you.
Right, yep. So before I
Yeah.
think we're probably about to
Yeah,
wrap up
before
this
we start to
topic.
wrap for sure. Yeah, I want to
But
get to your
just
stuff.
wanted
Yeah.
just wanted to hit the sales real quick. Just beware of like everything has a sale almost every single week, and like check out like Fleet Farm has their flyers.
Mhm.
Cabela's is running stuff all the time. Shields is running stuff all the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they'll just have like one thing here and there go on sale. So like look at that flyer all the
Okay.
time because that's where you're going to get the deals on the higher end stuff that you want. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
electronics a lot of times too when you're trying to find like new depth finders or whatever,
Yeah.
they'll go on sale like here and there. Like when you get into like springtime, it's like, oh, it's the spring fishing sale, like we're getting ready. And then
Yeah, yeah,
after that it'll just be like it's a regular fishing sale or whatever. And then they'll just be
yeah.
like 4th of July sale will like have like everything that we have that has an American flag on it. And then
Mm.
plus there's one rod and one reel or whatever that it'll
Mhm.
just be like a very select amount of things that go on sale. But if you keep
Yeah.
an eye on that, like almost
Good point.
everything that you want to buy that doesn't normally like get marked on clearance because it's awesome stuff will come on sale eventually. You just have to keep an eye out for that stuff, and everybody has it, and everybody has their own like um markdown area too. Like I know
Sure.
Cabela's has the bargain cave. Like if you go online, that's another one.
Mm.
Online is killing it these days. If you
Right.
put in bargain cave or bargain bin, almost every single online website
Nice.
for lures and stuff has that on their website even. So you
Really?
don't even need to go into the stores. I think I find the
Sick.
best deals in stores with their random clearance tags that nobody knows about. You just gotta kinda like scour the racks and all of a sudden you'll find
Yeah.
like a weird little section. Like Walmart used to just have this big cardboard box where there'd just be like a bunch of rods in there and nobody really wanted to take the time to pull them out and look at each
And
one and try
look.
to figure it out. But
Right, right.
I know what I'm looking for, like just based off of the rod tips most of the time. So I'm just like looking at the rod tips and I'm like, this one's quality. And then I follow it down to
S
see if it's a good deal.
Right, right.
So,
That's awesome, dude. Good. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. That was good. I think we hit this faster than we expected because we like teased it in I think we teased it in episode 45 and then it was like, yeah, we got to do that sometime. We
yeah,
just got to talking. We're like, fuck it, dude, we're doing it.
we're doing it. We got to tell people, let them know we're hitting we're just into starting this fishing season. If you're trying to get out there, here's some
Right,
tips to
right,
try to get you some deals. And I
right.
know we
And
preach
the
the
small
long
boat thing
game, but
too.
some of it's a little bit like, here's a way to get out.
Right,
Yeah, and the
right,
small boat thing, again, I bought mine used. You can find stuff used out there.
right. Yeah,
Some of that stuff is a little bit harder to come by because there's not as many out there, but who
right.
knows? Who knows what you're going to find? I didn't even know the Sears Game Fisher was a thing until like I was
Right, right.
looking for the a used bass raider, like the same thing that I wanted to buy. And then I found this, and I'm like,
This
this is
happened.
the exact same thing I wanted to
Right.
buy, but Sears made one a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So sick. And yeah, that's the thing. Like the small boat thing is huge right now. Start of the fishing season, just trying to get into it, whatever it may be. It just felt right to do it. And so
For sure.
here we go. We had to do it. Dropping episode 46, the budget fishing.
There it was.
Now it's time to get into episode 46, random take, buyer's remorse, because I have some shit on my chest that I just need to get off about what I've bought.
Yeah.
And then look
Hey,
back and went, damn, dude, shouldn't have did that.
and again, I just want to give another call out there. If anybody listening has your own tips or tricks or anything that we missed to cover, let us know, because obviously I'm a budget fisherman, and if anybody else is listening to this, they're the same way. If you got some hot tips that we missed, let us know. Or you got some tips I don't even know.
Right.
Whew,
Hell yeah.
I'll
Right.
give you a high
Always
five.
listening. Always listen. Yeah, that's right. Just seriously, it feels so weird to do these plugs, but it's just like the perfect time. Real AF TV. Real AF TV. Remember, real like fishing reel. You find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, right? Hit us up. Go to YouTube. Leave it in the comments. We see this stuff. And it's not just for the plug, man. It's like, yeah, I want to hear your deal. I want to hear your hot tip for real.
And if you give us a tip and you don't want it to, if it's just like, oh, I don't really
DM
want
us.
you to talk about this. Yeah. DM us. Just let us know. I won't put it out there, but if you are cool with sharing it with everybody, shit, we'll throw it up in the next episode. Just be like, we talked about this last episode. This person said this, and good looking out,
Right. Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right. Let's get into that random take. Buyer's remorse, because I got some shit I want to talk about.
All right.
Hit it. Hey there. Guess what? We have a URL for you. It's realaf.tv/monsterbass. That's right. realaf.tv/monsterbass. God, when we started these things, I really had them on point, and then I've been messing them up lately. But anyways, it's realaf.tv/monsterbass, real like fish and reel, and it will shoot you over to the Monster Bass website. That's right. And that's my part of this deal, because now I say, Tim, what is Monster Bass?
Monster Bass is a subscription website that will hook you up with lures and bass. That's why it's Monster Bass. They will hook you up with bass tackle for the spot that you live in. So they're going to hook you up with stuff that makes sense for where you were living, and not giving you giant stuff that you would use down in Florida to use up in Minnesota, all that good stuff. And they are hooking you up with quality stuff. It is an excellent thing to be getting a new angler, or if you are an experienced angler, it is like Christmas every month, or your birthday, or whatever you like more. I don't know, maybe your mom sucks and she never gives you a present, so you got, your wife gets you a Christmas present. I don't know, whatever your favorite holiday is that you get present, whatever it is that you get good stuff. And if you don't get Christmas or birthday, well, then you owe it to yourself to get yourself a Monster Bass subscription, because nobody else is getting you dick.
Yeah, dude.
But it is an awesome subscription. They got boxes, and they come in bags, and the bags are dope because they're reusable, and they hook you up with quality lures at a discounted price, and they hook you up with the terminal tackle that you need to be using, the soft plastics and stuff that they send with. And if you're not familiar with terminal tackle, it's hooks and weights and stuff. Yeah. And it is a fantastic subscription box. So again, if you're sending that out to a new person that doesn't really know what they're doing, well, then they have all this stuff to mess around with, because you know that the stuff works once you figure out how to use it. And it's just a matter of, if they're setting you up with the hooks and the weights and everything, then it's a lot easier to get it going, knowing that you have the right equipment for the job.
Right. Yeah, dude. Well put. That is definitely what it is. And we are putting this out there because you can help the Real AF TV podcast by going to realaf.tv/monsterbass, because that lets Monster Bass know that we actually sent you over to the website, and that is how this digital age works out. So again, realaf.tv/monsterbass, help out the podcast, but also help out somebody that loves fishing. Throw them a bone.
That's right. Hook them up. Or hook yourself up. It's awesome.
If you didn't know, we have a Patreon page. And if you don't know what Patreon is, ask a friend, because they're probably already on Patreon. And I'll tell you, as somebody who is a member of Patreon, that is really the best way to get into it. But patreon.com/realaftv, remember, real like fish and reel, is where you can find us specifically, and you will get shot over to our Patreon page that will start to explain a little bit about what Patreon is. But the easiest way to put it is it's a way to contribute to creatives. And though you may not like the word creatives, this is a creative endeavor.
That's right.
This takes time and effort and ideas and planning and all that fun stuff. And that is what Patreon is all about, is helping build those things by building a community around that thing.
Right.
Our thing, fishing.
That's right.
That was a weird roundabout way of explaining that, but that is what the Real AF TV Patreon is. Did you like it?
You said it well. It's perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It felt cumbersome at first, but I was like, I think it's thorough. And it was. If you go over to patreon.com/realaft, remember, Real Like Fish and Reel, it is going to show you the different tiers, because Patreon does not set a number, but there's a financial number on that page. Like for $1, you will be able to keep up with the Real AF TV podcast, whatever we post on Patreon, and so on and so on and so on. And there's a $50 tier where we're ready to make custom lures. So go over to patreon.com/realaftv. We're ready to make custom lures. So at the $50 tier, and you only need to subscribe or become a member, or really, when it comes to Real AF TV, join a community of like-minded fishers, and there are rewards. Is rewards the word we're using, Tim?
Yeah, I think so.
Perks,
rewards,
maybe?
Perks. I like perks.
Yeah, I like
there
perks.
There are perks to the levels, because when you sign up for certain levels, you get the perks. Yeah, rewards seems to just be like, I don't know. Perks. I like perks.
Yeah, me too. I think there's different perks to join in the community, but that is what this is about. Patreon can be a little confusing at first, but I really encourage you to become a Patreon. And if Real AF TV is your first venture into Patreon, hey, we're listening. We'll help you guide through a little bit, because the more Patreons there are, the more creative material that's made, the more things that are getting made on Real AF TV. Right.
Yep.
And then the more things that are the more quality things I feel like are being made, and the more benefit it is to you as a Patreon. I know I'm seeing it as one myself, and that's what we're doing over here, trying to build the same thing.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out. Patreon.com/realaftv.
Yes. Check it out, please. And thank you.
Thank you. I get drunk for housework too, and 2 and 1. Welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast, a show about fishing and random takes from Atlanta, 10,000 lakes. This is the random take, and if you're joining us on Friday for just the random take, boy, oh boy, that's awesome. Because we are primarily a fishing podcast and stuff, but we like to do this so that me and Tim don't seem like one-dimensional dickheads.
Yeah. And also, it's like therapy, bro. We just get shit off our chests, and we're gonna do this stuff anyways. It's like, why not let you into our world, hear what we got to talk about? Because we just talk about shit.
Exactly. And this topic is one of those topics: buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
I have some things as of late that I just wanted to talk to him about. I've had some buyer's remorse, but we did the fishing topic this week of episode 46 was budget and budget fishing, right? Like how to be budget fisherman. Fishing doesn't have to be the expensive ass topic or the expensive ass hobby that we have really laid out prior to this. And
Right.
we didn't want to scare people off. And then it made me think like, oh God, what about those moments when you didn't buy clearance and you wish you would
Right.
have, or,
Yep.
further, but even further more. I mean, like the thing that really tripped it off was this.
Nice, dude.
I finally
Hell
got a
yeah.
fucking PS5, dude.
Yeah, dude. Nice.
It's sealed in the box.
That's a nice surprise right there. I didn't know it was coming. Dun, 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 dun.
It's sealed. It's in the box. I know what they go for on eBay.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy.
Right.
I am having a little buyer's remorse over it
Oh, really?
because I've had every PS4, like every PlayStation, every single
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get the slim PS2 and I didn't get the slim PS3, like, but
Right.
every gen, right? Like I have a PS1 to a PS5. Got them all.
Yep.
Had them all.
Yep.
But we've talked about this before in our video game topics of like, I think I'm becoming a PC gamer. And even you're like, I think I'll just get a PC. Like this is getting fucking weird. Like it's so hard to get these consoles. The PC will grow. It has other purposes. And it was like, yeah, I could probably take that money I've been saving up for the PS5 and get a decent graphics card. And I've talked about that before.
Sure.
And even with it sitting here right next to me, I'm kind of still like, shit, man. I don't know.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I've thought about the computers too, but at the same time, like it's still like just to have that PlayStation is just something different, man. For
It
me,
is.
like just I know you're the same. It's like just to have it.
Yeah.
Like I know you got the buyer's remorse, but like it's like opening that box and seeing it when you turn it on. I always get excited. You see the lights turn on. You're just like,
I know. And the sound even, right?
oh,
Just the little, like
oh, dude,
there's always like a little
everything.
beep but it's very specific and like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
dude. Just this is a little bit random, but since we're speaking of PlayStation,
Yeah.
my sister sent me some shit the other day that was apparently like a TikTok, and this made
Mhm.
me feel old as fuck because it was like a PS2 where they showed somebody like turning the PS2 sideways and then like turning the PlayStation symbol so it reads right.
Yeah.
And the kid was doing one of those like, wait, what? And it was like my whole life is a lie. And they go do it and they turn it on that one and they turn it on the slim PS2 too. And it like slim PS2 also. And they're like,
Right.
mind is blown. And my sister showed me that. And she's just like, did you know about this? And I'm like, everybody that bought the fucking thing when it came out knew about it because
Right.
it came in a vertical stand, so you could stand it up or you could lay it down, and then the
Yeah.
PlayStation symbol rotated so it looked normal
So it looked right.
in either positioning. And
Right.
she's just like, "Whatever, nerd." And I'm like, like everybody knew that,
Right.
you know?
You fucking 20-year-olds.
Yeah, young kids, like what the fuck?
Okay, 18-year-old kid on
We
TikTok,
all
good
know
for
that,
you.
yeah,
Like, oh, what the fuck?
and then I looked at the comments, and then it was, like, everybody my age that was like, "This was not a secret." Like,
Right.
we all knew
There
about
was
this.
no secret about this ever
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, and apparently it's viral where, like, a shit ton of people are like, "No, and then everybody that was old enough to buy it when it came out is just like,
Right.
"Yep."
Is like,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
I bought the vertical stand and I put it in it and I turned it. It was like the first console
Yeah.
to ever decide horizontal, vertical, whatever fits your get up the best.
Right,
You
yeah,
can do it.
it's like telling a young kid about, like, a flip phone now. They're just like,
Right.
it wasn't just a screen?
Right.
No.
There were
No, not for a
physical
long
keys
time.
on your
There was
phone.
physical keys, and there was a bunch of weird shit like that.
That's really funny. I actually have had buyer's remorse on phones before, but quickly get over those. I have quickly gotten
Yeah.
over those because
I've never
no,
not on
you go.
phones. Well, I was gonna say I've just never had buyer's remorse on phones because I'm so analytical that I
Ah,
have never bought a
mhm,
phone until I knew for a
mhm.
fact that it was the best phone for me. Like,
Sure, sure.
and if it would have shit out,
Mhm.
right away, I would have had buyer's remorse. But I've never had a phone, like,
Yeah.
never had a problem past the initial startup. I had
Mm.
like a
Oh,
Samsung one time
the
that I
initial startup,
returned,
you mean, like, literally, like, open the box, press the button, and you're like, "This is it. This is the
or like,
stuff." Just like
well,
what we
no,
talked about?
I've had like one time it was like I started it up and it was doing weird shit, and
Okay.
I brought it back immediately, and it was just like, oh yeah, there's something defective with this one,
And they just
but
handed you another one?
yep, yep. But
Okay.
besides
Okay.
that, like, it's always been the right choice. Like, once it was
Sh
up and running and going properly, you're just
Right.
like, yep, I know, and I'm always excited about it. I'm always like digging into the new stuff, and it's funny
Yeah.
because it might be too that I like don't use it to its full potential, but I'm
That's why
always
I have buyer's remorse on some, so,
yeah.
please keep going.
So I'll look at into everything, and I'm like, this has that, and this has that, and then all of a sudden it's just like I don't even use any of it, but I know it has it, and I'm still happy that it has it though.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that's exactly it. Is like this is what so on the phone, it was the weirdest thing is like this is one of the first times it's totally game related, video game related still.
Yeah,
But one of the first times I've actually had buyer's remorse after the fact. My most before the phone I had right now, I was
yeah,
still buying Sony phones because they connected to the DualShock 4. Well,
okay,
my previous Sony phone ran just fine. It ran the games fine, connected to DualShock 4 just fine.
yeah,
I just stopped using it because Android itself wasn't running that well. So I got the new Sony phone and then basically never connected the DualShock 4 or my PlayStation to it. I never used that compatible like that. And so I'm just like, fuck, man. I spent $400 extra on this Sony phone when I could have just got a fucking dipshit any cell phone. Yeah, fuck. Because now I'm
right,
not on a
right,
Sony phone anymore. And
right,
I'm just like, yeah, yeah, I didn't need that because I bought the one phone that did that, and then I
yeah,
never need it again because the phone still just runs all the games and shit, and it works just fine. God damn it.
yeah. I was about to. So I have a new phone. I have the new Samsung, and I was
Yeah,
about to
yeah.
like pull out the S Pen and be like, I got this because I'm like, I like the Note with the S Pen, and this is gonna be dope. And now I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever use this, but I might still. Like, there's cool things. But I have this case is horseshit. I bought this case. It's so dumb. I bought it at Walmart. I just needed a case.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
sure.
not walking around without a case, and this is what they had. And it's like a full enclosed thing, and it has like a little access panel to get at the S Pen, but I can't actually get it out.
Oh,
It's like too
because
far in
the
there.
case is not properly manufactured to get the pen out?
Right. It's like you can
Fuck.
pop open because this is 100% weatherproof. It's like it's sealed on both sides. It's
Oh, sick,
waterproof,
dude.
dustproof, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the speaker's shit because of it though. Like you can like full volume, I can barely hear it because they're just
Right.
like, yeah, it's waterproof, and I'm like, I can tell it's not even letting sound out. This
I
is
can
stupid.
I can tell it's sealed up really tight because the
Yeah,
sound's fucking also inside the phone now.
here I got a good one.
Okay. And now you've been I let me see. Oh,
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Bought
yeah.
it when it came out.
Yep.
Hear that? That's the original cellophane. This thing's never been opened.
Now,
I bought that like right before I had my son. He's
yep.
4 years old now. It's just been sitting on the shelf
This is literally your
for
4-year-old
4
gaming
years.
cellophane.
I think we're like almost like 2 games past this one, and I've never touched this one. Like, if I opened it up and started playing it now, everybody would be like leveled up ridiculous, or like I'd
You'd
stand
be
no
trying to
chance.
play like level they'd just throw you in. You're like, I have nowhere to put you. So I guess you're going to level 55
Yeah, right.
prestige twice fucking games and you're level 1. I don't know where
Yeah,
to put you. The server just doesn't know what to do. It just throws you
right.
in.
Yeah, they're just like, we like to put you in with players that are your level, and nobody's. your level.
Nobody's your level. There's no players compatible with you.
Because nobody's buying this game anymore because Warzone exists. You
Oh
know,
yeah, for
there's
sure.
free Call of Duties that are just as good.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
how
Exactly.
when it was the new hot shit probably did work, but yeah.
4
Anyways,
years ago when it was the new hot shit.
right, right.
So like I'm sitting next to a brand new sealed box and I'm
Yep,
having regrets about it. I bet no. Like you said, you know me. You know we know.
yep.
As soon as I crack that bitch open and I pull that thing out and I get it going, it's probably all gonna just fade to the background. I'm like, yeah, man, it's all fucking worth it. it in this moment, right?
Yeah,
Right now, brand new, just bought it. I'm having buyer's regret and it's gonna go away. What have you had that you bought almost and then almost immediately regretted it? That doesn't sound right, you know. But does that make sense? Like, what do
yeah.
you have like in the moment? Like you're driving home from the store and you're like, "Fuck, man,
So
maybe I
I
should have."
can't I can't think of anything where it was like in the store, but it was like once I got it home and set it up. Currently, you
Yeah.
can't see it right now.
Okay.
There's a ping pong table right there. And the ping
Okay.
pong table is folded up and it has a blanket over it because I'm using it as like a sound board
Oh yeah.
so it's
Okay.
not so echoey.
Yeah.
That ping pong table is way too fucking big. And we set it up and like put it down and played it once and realized like we have no room to move around this thing. Like we can't play ping pong. So yeah, we bought a ping pong table and I think we used it like twice. And it
Right.
was just like one of those where it was on sale. Where it
Okay.
was just like, oh, it'd be cool to have a ping pong table, wouldn't it? And then yeah, and then we buy the ping pong table, and then now it holds a blanket.
Its job is to be a wall with a blanket on it.
Exactly, it's a movable wall for sound deadening purposes.
I mean, at least you repurposed it, but like in the grand scheme of things, right?
Right?
You're
Yeah,
like, I
exactly.
kind of regret
It's
that one.
yep, yep. I've had a couple of those where it's just something you get at home and it doesn't work like what you wanted it to, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, I can't
Right.
return it because I can't just tell where I bought it from. Like, shit sucks. Like they don't take it back because it's a poor quality product. I don't think most of the time.
Right. Yep. Yep. Or that you get it from the to kick back to the fishing topic, or you get it from the clearance rack, and they're just like all clearance items are final sale. You're like, yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna roll them dice. Sure.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I've had some moments of stuff like that where you're just like, that was a waste of money. You know?
Yeah. 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 No, that's exactly it.
I'll tell
Do you
you.
have do you have like a lingering thing? Oh well, besides the ping pong table, do you have that like
Yeah.
thing you just come across every once in a while? You just like walk in front of it, and you're like, fuck.
Did
Fucker's
I tell
still
you?
sitting there. Like, I
I'll tell
brought it
you
home and
one.
it's sitting in the same fucking spot when I brought it home.
Yeah, I'll tell you a real big one, and it's
Oh,
not
boy.
even the same spot when I come home. It's the fucking home itself.
Oh, no,
Dude.
Tim, don't say that.
Oh, dude, it's like it's not the worst
You
house in
can't
the
have buyer's regret. How many years? You've had that house for so many years. You can't have
yeah,
buyer's
but
regret on
it's
it.
just like, well, we purchased it and you see all these like home buyer like these people that are doing all these renovations and stuff, and you're
Sure,
just like,
sure.
"Oh, with some renovations, this house will
Mhm.
be nice." And then you move in and you're like, it's so much more work to do renovations than they make it seem on these fucking shows. And
Yeah, yeah,
and
dude.
I really wish that instead of being like, I'll buy the home in my budget and turn it into my house, I really wish that I would have bought something like what you guys have. You have a townhome
Mhm,
that's a nice place. And I think like it's a nice setup where you're not worried about the lawn because you got like the other people taking care of it and stuff.
mhm, mhm.
And then um it's got like central air and like new
Mhm.
amenities and shit where I don't have any of that because we bought an older house because a new house wasn't in the budget.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, even if that wasn't the home that I thought would be like the forever home or whatever,
Yeah.
it was initially where I'm like, I'm gonna buy this and then we'll make it into the forever home or whatever.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
now I'm like, I wish I would have bought something like a townhome because I know that you can sell those pretty easily. Like, just
Sure.
gained equity while I'm living there
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
sold that and then moved into like a nicer, newer spot or whatever
Yeah.
down the road. So like I buy this and I'm like, it gained equity in like theory, but I
Yeah.
don't think people will pay what the asking price is because like the siding shit and stuff.
Huh.
And dude,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, okay. I get what
right
you're
now,
saying there.
you wanna know the worst thing I got dealing with right now is
What?
fucking woodpeckers, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude.
Do you know you can't do anything with them?
You
They're
can't do a thing. Yeah. You know what you can do? Get vinyl siding. It's literally
exactly.
the
I have to
only
like
thing you can do.
and that's like 30 grand to do my house.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a good size
It's
house.
oh, dude.
Fucking
Yeah, so
shit,
that's
dude.
we've been thinking about doing that and like we gotta look into like a uh I don't know if it's like a home
Home
equity
improvement
loan or
loan or
like if there's a
whatever.
home improvement loan. Like
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
recently what I saw, I gotta look into it more, but recently what I saw was like a 10-year loan and I'm like, 10-year, can we just add this into the mortgage somehow? Like
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to pay off 30K in 10 years. Like I
Right.
gotta have another fucking car payment to side my house. Can we
Right.
just roll this into the house somehow? Like I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
I gotta
There is
talk
some
to
way
a
to do
bank.
that from what I
But
understand, but I'm not
dude,
entirely sure, but
these things are shitheads because they peck a hole in my wall, and I
yep.
go and I fill the hole with like the spray foam stuff,
Sure.
and then they go and I peck a hole right next to the hole they already pecked. Like I
Oh
fill it up
my
with spray foam,
god.
and then it makes me nervous too because I'm like, these woodpeckers are pecking through the wood.
Yeah.
Why? They're looking for food, right? I got
Right.
bugs in my walls. What the fuck? But
But
there's
I've
only
also seen a woodpecker peck a stop sign, so
oh, have
it's
you?
not
So
always precise. Yeah, like,
they're just
literally, I was
idiots.
riding by a stop sign, like, I was on my bike, I was out biking,
Yeah.
nice summer day, and I'm cruising, and there's no sound, it's a nice quiet, and all of a sudden, I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" I turn around, look at the stop sign, sure enough, just fucking going hard on some metal, and I was like, "Yeah,
Sounds
that's
like a
a
jackhammer.
unique sound."
Dude, this this is a little bit off topic, but since we're talking about it, I listened to the Honeydew podcast with Ryan Sickler, and he was talking
Yep.
to another guy about how like when he was a kid, he had a pellet gun and they would like randomly shoot birds and stuff, and
Mhm.
the couple of times that they like landed a shot and that bird didn't die right away, like it really gave him remorse. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to do this anymore.
Mhm.
They felt bad about it.
Mhm.
And Ryan, I think he was talking about his brother or whatever, and his brother shot one of these like a woodpecker,
Mhm.
and he said it was like one of the little ones, not like one of the big endangered ones. So he goes and
Mhm.
he picks up the little one, and like he felt bad for it, and he's like, and just like it was playing dead or whatever, that woodpecker woke up and he said he lit up my brother's hand. Just so what he did to that stop sign just
Just
lit his hand
think
up.
about it to somebody's hand.
I just pictured like the woodpecker being like, "You got me," and then you pick him up and he's just like, "It's like motherfucker, don't shoot me."
Just fucking A. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Well, fuck, dude,
Oh.
that I didn't want it to get too downer. I
Ah, no, man,
you're
it's all good. Like I don't
you
sit
got
here
you
like
got land. I think that's the thing, right? It's like you gotta kinda take
yeah,
that because
and I think if we
buyer's
can figure
remorse
out a
is
way
real.
to get this siding and stuff figured out, like the house as a whole isn't too bad.
Right,
Like
right.
it's got some size, it's got a bunch of rooms and stuff. There's some
Yeah,
things that needs to get repaired, but if we can get that repaired, I think we can at least make our money back, if not better.
yeah,
And just making your money back, having that equity is
right,
is huge. But
is the
that's
big
why
thing,
I'm
yeah.
like
Yeah.
knowing that a townhome, I'd just be able to turn around and just be like, "Would you like to buy this?" And somebody would be like, "Yep." It's not and
Yeah. I mean, it's not that straightforward, but it is in a way. I get it. I get
no,
what you're saying because
I
it's a
know, but
condo. I only have to sell the inside in a way, right?
right, right,
Yeah.
and it's I just feel like it's just kinda like the people I think there's a lot of people that like that, like, sense of community.
For
Like,
sure. For
you're
sure.
in that community,
Yep.
like, where
Yep.
my neighbors are way far away, and I
Far
think
enough away where you don't really know them, right?
yeah, and I
Yeah.
kinda,
Like I
like,
hang out with
right
my
away
neighbors
when I
like every day
moved
if
it
it's
in
nice
like that
outside.
yeah, right away when I moved in like that, I'm like, "This is awesome." Because we had apartments that you could hear through, and I'm just
Right.
like, "I just wanna get away with this," and this was the exact opposite, and I'm like, "This is beautiful."
Right. Yeah.
And then you're like, "Eh, a little bit of community would be okay," you know?
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. And, like, with so the to get to the buyer's remorse thing is like you kinda said it in the earlier topic too, but overall, we've talked about it, and we like to research, right? Like, we like to research our
Oh,
shit
yeah.
and know, and, like, I did research my Sony phone a lot, and I did know, and it wasn't until 4 years later when I was replacing
Right.
it that I was like, "Why the fuck did I spend all that extra money?" And it's it goes to that, is like, do you I fear buyer's remorse in a way, and I
Oh,
wonder what I've
yes.
missed out on because of that in a way,
Right.
because I'm not that trigger puller, right? I'm not that like, "Oh, that fucking TV's on sale. Let's go get it."
Yeah. I
Do you well, no, go, 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 go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, that's why I am so analytical.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
I don't want to make the wrong decision because I know it's gonna bother me. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I wanna know everything about it and know that it's the best choice. I'm always, like,
yeah,
Googling, like, different lists on everything.
sure.
Like, what's the best this and that for the money? Like, I
Yeah.
just bought a hard drive. That took me a while.
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah.
Not to be like that guy, but I was like, "Hey, here they are. These are good. Trust me. I'm an IT guy." And I don't think that you don't trust me. Don't let me get that wrong.
Right.
But it's just the point, because also it comes down to size, right? Like, what can I
Yeah,
get? How many terabytes can I get
exactly.
for the money?
Yeah, I was doing the math, constantly Googling, like, all the cameras I have. Like, how
Yep.
long am I gonna be able to record on this for this long? Like, what batteries, all this other stuff, and it was that too. I'm like,
Right.
"How many terabytes am I gonna need on this to be safe in
Right.
case it's like I don't get a chance to go home for, like, a couple weekends or whatever? Can I
Right.
store
Right.
a couple weekends worth of videos on here?"
Right. Yep.
And it was all
Mhm.
that stuff,
Mhm.
just crunching the numbers, knowing exactly
Right.
because you see the lesser one go on sale, and you're like, "Oh, I could save like $50 right now, but I want the
Right.
bigger one.
Uh-huh.
But do I need
Uh-huh.
the bigger one?" It's that kind of shit.
Right. Yeah. No, that's for sure. And I think that the fear of buyer's remorse makes us better consumers. I personally
Oh,
think
for
that,
sure.
but we're we're those people. So
Right.
if you're not those people and you are just pulling the trigger, tell us about how it doesn't happen that much.
Right. Yeah. Let us know.
Because we're two of the same kind. We love to do our research
Right.
because of the fear of buyer's remorse. And now, like, I'll be honest, with the PS5, it was one of
Yeah.
those situations where I got in the queue, right? The digital queue. And it was like, nah, this isn't going to happen. It's fine. I'll stay in the queue though.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't forget that you're, you know, not reserved until you've checked out. Yeah, okay. I get it. It's not going to happen anyway. Who gives a shit? And I keep working. And then all of a sudden, bam, you're in. Poof. First thing that pops up, it says add to cart. And I see it and I comprehend the image fast enough and I just go, bah, 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 bah. And I fucking hammered through it as fast as I could.
Nice.
And I was like, oh shit, I kind of don't even know what I just bought. I saw the JPEG,
Right.
but I'm not sure 100%. I should check the email,
Oh,
the
yeah,
confirmation email.
I've done that before where like you
Oh, yeah.
buy everything and you're just like I didn't I bought what I thought I was buying, right? Like, I didn't buy just something related to what I was trying to buy,
Right, right, because
like, because 'cause you're like,
the way
"Oh,
the
I
internet feeds you shit.
yeah, I pulled the trigger because that was a good deal." But then all of a
Mhm,
sudden you're
mhm.
just like, "Was it a good deal because I didn't buy the right thing?"
Right.
You know,
Freaks
that
you
kinda
out,
stuff.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think I've ever done that before. I don't think I've ever bought I think I did one time on Amazon. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was, but I bought the wrong thing, and
Mhm.
it was like one of those where I could, like, cancel the order before it went anywhere. And I'm just like,
Yes.
"Oh, shit. No, that was wrong." Like, "No,
Yep.
cancel,"
Yeah.
like, right away.
Dude, I have that's actually one of the things I wrote down is I have one of those stories too. It's like I have a very vivid because this was probably the first time. I don't know if I was scammed. I don't know if I was going to be scammed. I don't know enough about the situation, but the camera that I use right now, still till this day for filming the podcast, during the video podcast,
Yeah.
this camera is well over 10 years old. Still a perfectly good camera because it was a high end camera at the time. And I had initially bought this camera, from a site that was one of those situations that was too good to be true. But in the early 2000s, we were still sort of figuring that out. I sent that fucker back. Like, it was on its way. It had a UPS
Oh,
tracking
really?
number. And I was like, I don't know, something feels weird, dude. And then I had 3 or 4 days in shipping to try to figure it out, and I started emailing them, and I was in contact, and I was like, "I don't know, this doesn't feel right. Something feels weird." And I just denied the package. They they couldn't do anything
Yeah.
but refund me, thankfully. I mean, they could
Yeah.
have been a total fucking rip-off site, which they weren't. I just don't
Right.
know how they got the price that they got in the end, and everything was I was just like, I'm cutting this off." And I just denied the package, and it got sent back. I I don't know if that I don't think that's buyer's remorse, because I think buyer's remorse is more like you bought it, you have it,
Yeah.
and you feel bad about the fact that you have it,
Right.
and you continue. But that was one of those situations where it was buyer's remorse post purchase
Yeah.
that made me analyze why I felt that way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I felt bad about spending that amount of money because it's a very expensive camera, and I just have a problem. It's like anything over this amount, right? It sort of hits a nerve with me,
Right. Yeah.
and then you have a day or half a day to just let it mill around in your brain, and the buyer's remorse made me act differently in this case. And I still
Okay.
ended up with the damn camera, but I ended up paying, how much more money in comparison to that website. It was a significant amount, to the point where I
Right.
look back at it now and I go, I think my buyer's remorse, guilty analytics brain thing really kicked into turbo in that moment.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah, dude, I've had stuff not not like that, but where I've got it home and then I take it out of the box and I use it for the first time and I'm just like, damn it. This was not at all what I thought this was gonna be better. I thought this was gonna I looked at everything, I looked at all the stats, I looked at all the numbers, I
Yep.
read reviews,
Yep.
and then I get mad at the people that reviewed it. Like, what the fuck were you people doing? Like, you guys all said this was good?
Right.
Like, yeah, you don't know what good is. You're wrong. You're wrong. This is not good. You're
you're
wrong.
you're totally wrong. It's not good.
Yeah. It was like I have one for fishing. I have
Yeah.
an Akuma
I was hoping you
Citrix.
would.
An
What is it
Akuma
again?
Citrix. An Akuma Citrix reel.
Real. Okay.
Uh-huh. And I think I spent like $110 on it, and I think it's like $160 reel or something normally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
For
never
sure.
had an Akuma before.
Uh-huh.
But they looked dope and I heard good things and I'm like, all right, cool. And
Yeah.
I got it and dude, I hate the drags. I hate the
Fuck.
like the like tensioner on the spool for the
To
bait
set the
caster
drag.
and stuff. Hate it. I couldn't
Fuck.
for the life of me cannot figure out how to cast that thing properly. Like I have to open up everything all the way to get it to cast normal.
What?
And it's like these like things are pointless, like unless I'm fishing like with like a 2 ounce bait, which is insane for a reel that small. The breaks are pointless, and it's just like what the
What?
I don't know what this is. I don't know
Really?
why. Yeah, I really hate that reel. I
Fuck.
still use it
Yeah.
because it works in certain situations, but I only use it for one type of. I'll use it for like pitching and flipping because with it all opened up,
Okay.
when I only have to like flick it, like when
Yep.
I'm trying in like deep like matted grass or whatever, there'll be like
Right.
holes in the matted grass, and I'm just
Sure.
trying to put that jig into that hole.
Right.
And I know the reel has the drag is decent and it has power to like reel up fish. Like if I land a fish, I'm not nervous that it's gonna shit out on me when I'm fighting a fish.
Okay. Yeah.
And I can cast it like 20 feet like that. Like I've learned how to use it like that. So
Yeah.
I still have it like that.
Right.
And it's set up with a specific I have 20-pound fluorocarbon, which is a little bit intense. Like that's pretty thick line for
Right.
fluoro.
Right.
But I don't like tying on leaders with braid. Like a lot of people go braid to leader. And I
Mhm.
like just to have it like straight through. And
Okay.
floor like that's just kind of intense, 20 pounds. But
It is.
that's what I have
I
it
was like,
set up
"Holy
with.
shit."
Yeah, that's what I have it set up with. And that's, you think that's crazy though, but a lot of people when they're flipping mats and stuff are using like 65-pound braid.
Jesus.
But
Because
the
they're
six,
worried about the
well,
hold
because
on.
you can get away with it. The diameter of braid is so much thinner than the other lines. You can,
Oh, that's why. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I got
So
you.
you can get away with heavy, super heavy stuff because you don't have
Right.
to. When you're fishing down in Florida and you got a chance at a 10-pounder plus, 10 pounds of weeds and all that
Yeah,
other
all
good
the
junk.
yep, getting caught up. That's exactly what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. The
So
vegetation, right?
so yeah. Anyways, I bought that reel thinking like it would be like I can do a lot of stuff with this, and it's garbage. I use
And
it for
it's a
one thing.
flipping that's it. Like, it just does flipping.
Yep, use it for one thing, and I only use it for flipping because that's something I've learned I can get away with using it for. Like it's still not my top
Mhm,
choice. Like if I had another
mhm,
reel specifically for that, that's what I'd use. But this is
mhm.
what I can get away with. Yeah. So
Right, like,
there's
it
some
is the
stuff like
flipping. Yeah.
yeah, I've never really had any problem with rods. I've broken a couple of them. The real lightweight stuff, the tips. I've
Right.
snapped off the tips on a couple of them, and that sucks. And I've still tried to use them. I think I actually have 3 of them right now. I have a
Shit.
KVD one, a Skeet Reese, uh, Wright and McGill one, and then I have another Wright and McGill. I have 3 of them. I still have them.
Damn.
We were kind of talking off podcast about like us not wanting to throw away stuff. It's like I have 3 broken rods and I can't get rid of them because I'm like, who knows? Maybe I'll
Right,
figure
right,
out a way
right.
to make them work.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a really good point and, like, a way to wrap up the topic too because, well, I mean, we're gonna keep talking. Let's do our fucking obligatory stuff. Hey, realaf.tv is where you can find all the stuff, and I mean all the stuff by you can go over there. You could actually listen to the podcast on the website if you wanted to, but who does that when we're on Spotify and Amazon and all that shit? You can just look us up, Real AF TV. Remember, real like fish and reel. If you go to the website again, realaf.tv, it'll take you to the YouTubes and the Twitters and the Facebooks. It'll get you to where you need to be for all things Real AF TV, including the Patreon and all that fun stuff. Uh, Tim, the video. Talk about the video we just launched.
Yes. So the video we just launched is the crappie spawn video.
Yeah.
And it's all about the crappie spawn, just kind of really touching on a little bit of how I go out there and fish for the crappies and when it's spawning and stuff, and a little bit of tips and tricks. And um,
Yeah.
it's I'm bobber fishing with live bait. I think
Yeah.
I'll probably do another one down the road. Crappie spawn is gone and went, and
For
um,
2022.
yep, didn't get a chance to get out. There's some underlying like some health issues for my mom and all this other junk and didn't get a
Right.
chance to
Right.
get out fishing or whatever. But yeah, I plan on doing another one with like artificial baits and stuff.
Right
So
on. Yeah.
um down the road and getting a little bit deeper in depth on why the spawn, like what causes the spawn, when to learn when to go out to the spawn. But the spawn
Yeah.
right now is, just out there putting some fish in the boat and
Yeah. For sure.
having some fun.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
to see a
Definitely.
muskie. You get to
That's right.
got some jokes in there.
The star appearance by the muskie, but yes, everything you said, right, Tim, and it's our real first launch. So if you just we ask if you listen to the podcast, go check us out on YouTube. If you haven't yet, go over to YouTube, give us a like and subscribe, or whatever you can do. The free stuff is always
Yeah,
going to be there. We do have the Patreon, patreon.com/realaftv. Remember, real like fishing real, and we are working on more videos. So,
yeah,
it's going to be something, not just the podcast, not just the video podcast over there on YouTube, but there's also going to be more fishing videos coming up soon. So
right. Yeah, and go
don't,
over there and oh, sorry, what?
oh, no, 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 go.
I was just gonna say, go check out both of our handiwork. I'm out there catching them fish and showing you what's going on and stuff, and kind
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
got a little got a rig set up in the garage there. You should have seen my boom mic. I'll throw it on Instagram. It's like a lure holding up my whole system. But yeah, you can see my handiwork with the fishing, and then Josh's handiwork with the edits. He's got a couple of uh, cool graphics in there and stuff, and we definitely put time in to make a quality video. It's not
Yeah.
just some junk that we put out there. Good
Yeah.
mics, you can hear everything properly the whole time. So
Yeah.
we're trying,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. To great way to like just let it be known. That's just a good cutoff spot to be like, yeah, yeah, we're really trying to be quality.
Right. Yep.
but I want to ask you more about this flipping thing, because what, you put $160 on this shit? What was it again?